So, welcome to Urban Agoge, Season 2, Episode 6. The cool thing about this episode is that all the video clips we're going to show are from other people. So we've got Stan with a beans and rice recipe. We've got Digital Whiskey with some finger bandage ideas for your first aid kit. And we've got Harlequin with some bits on flint and steel. So that's really cool. It's a whole episode where all I have to do is edit it and put in the links. So we're going to start off with that now. This is Stan with his take on beans and rice.
Things to take with you when you're camping. Healthy things. Flaxseed. Whole flaxseed. Don't get broken flaxseed. Don't break the jar. Ground ginger. 1/8 of a teaspoon. See that? I don't know, probably. So 2 of those. So 1 of these for every teaspoon of flaxseed. Turmeric. And amla, which is Indian gooseberry. So before you go away, grind a load of that up and add at least a teaspoon to every meal. And it's good for savoury stuff and sweet stuff too. So you use it in everything. Anyway, I'll put that aside for a minute. And talk about some other stuff to take with you. Whole grain rice. Really cheap. I think it's about 30p for 250 grams. Already cooked. You can eat it straight out of the packet. Not a problem. No cooking. No need to heat it up. Ready to go. Awesome stuff. And Tesco also do a whole grain spicy Mexican inspired rice. Again, no need to cook, all done, ready to go. Lots of vegetables and things added. And the best thing, no chemical nasties in these things. Lots of carbs and everything, really good for going out hiking and camping and stuff. And might get a few, oh, you can't take tin mixed baked beans from Tesco's. These are absolutely lovely. Again, no nasty chemical nasties in them, really good. So so you can take that and that as a perfect meal. And people are like, yeah, but you've got to carry the tins. But the empty tin's only 55 grams, and there's nothing wrong with taking a tin with you. Just take it back home with you or put it in a bin somewhere. It's not that problem. And something else I found whilst in Tesco's was these. And I haven't tried these yet, but they looked really quite good. Again, no loads of chemical nasties at all. And they're looking really good. And so I'm going to have to get this, and I'm going to open this up for you now, because I've never actually seen inside these things before. See what. Again, it's all cooked, ready to go. Doesn't need anything adding to it. So you could eat it straight out the packet. Yeah. Refried beans. because they're Mexican refried beans, I thought we'll add them to the whole grain spicy Mexican inspired rice. So squidge this stuff up to break the rice up before you open the packet. It just makes it easier after. And then rip it apart and then throw all that in there. And our super omega-3 high antioxidant stuff that we just mixed up in the grinder, which will keep you really healthy. And if you're out walking and things like that in the hills and mountains, it'll also help you to recover better for the next day. Because if you don't deal with the oxidative stress, you're going to be sore. And also, you end up getting cancer if you don't deal with oxidative stress. So we're going to stir all this up together. Oops, I'm making a complete mess, which is what you're supposed to do. And the total calories in this bowl now is about 1,200 calories. So that's a lot of food. You could share it with somebody if you want, or you can be a complete pig like me and eat it all yourself. Like I say, if you're out in the hills and mountains walking all day, you're going to need a lot of calories. So unless you've already got enough calories on you, but I'm skinny, so I need to eat lots of calories. So now I'm going to try this. Looks a bit like dog food, but oh well. And that tastes super nice. Yeah, totally recommended. And really super healthy for packet processed food. Doesn't come much healthier than this. So, yeah. I was more than happy throwing loads of that in my pack. That's it for this week. Maybe some more next time. I've got some nice sweet stuff to share. And then after that, it will be my super energy bars. So keep well. Bye bye.
Alrighty, medical kits again. Anyway, one of the things I want to talk about is something that I don't see a lot in, or even at all in the Anglo-Saxon world, and that is these things, finger band-aids, what they're called, literal translation. I got a box of them, and they look like this. It's, simple band-aid with a big long tail on it. This might seem like something weird, and why would you have this? Well, I carry them on my person in something like this, an old, I believe this was paracetamol tablets bottle. Rolled up a bunch of them. It's not, the best way of packaging them. But it is it's a durable case. It's also waterproof, or water resistant enough. And those go back into my pocket before I forget them. But I think the best way of showing you why I like these things so much is by actually using them. Now, they're called finger band-aids for a reason, because they are very handy if you want to use them on your hands and fingers. Let's say you got a cut on the tip of your finger, put on the short little tail, undo the long end, and just do it around a couple times like that, over the end, and like that, the tip of your finger is wrapped up. And because it's one of these cloth-backed band-aids and not one of those plastic sheet material that they're made out of, these things will stay on your finger even if you're like literally digging in the ground. Now, they work just fine on the tips of your fingers. You can also use them on one of your knuckles, let's say, all of the difficult bits where usually normal band-aids will just come off. Because it's this long tail, you can wrap it around, and once you've moved your hand a little bit, they crinkle up and they become nice and mobile again. It's not that it's like this solid lump there and then this hinge point doesn't, or this knuckle doesn't work anymore. That's not the case. Another point that's usually hard to tape up is, let's say, the middle of your finger, in between in the web, I believe it's called. Now, if you're like me, and that means that you do usually have either a knife or scissors or both on you, you can just cut them in half and then put them like this and get the remaining bit of tape. Put it on like that. Give it a snug pull, tape it to the other side, press it down a bit, and again, that's all, nicely taped up. You can use the menu also in other places on the body, but that's usually what they're really good for. For your fingers, also, toes or any other part of your body that usually they don't stick on. What I have noticed with these ones, well, this particular ones, is that I bought them in a box of 100. They were fairly inexpensive. They are good, but they do stick quite well, as in maybe a little bit too well. So if you got fairly, fragile skin and peeling them off, that can be a bit of a pain. In that case, I would just, suggest leaving them on there for a couple days, and then you can peel them off, assuming the wound is clean and all that, If I haven't told you already, I'm not a doctor, so nor do I pretend to be one on the television. Anyway, it's really handy to tape up fingers and whatever, and because you have this long extra tail on here, you can tape them on in a way that they will stay put. I do manual labor for a job in many different forms, and nowadays I don't get my fingers cut up that much because I have the habit of putting on something like this. These are semi-disposable work gloves, and what do I mean by that is these are a woven elastic material that is covered in a nitrile foam of some sort. These ones are M-Safe Nitric Foam 14-690, size 9. These ones fit me just right, and that's the important bit with gloves. They need to fit you just right. Although that they, as all gloves, unfortunately do rob a little bit of that fine motor and fingers Spitzengefühl. It's not that much, and these ones, they protect you enough. They are heat resistant but not fireproof. They are puncture resistant but not stab proof. They will protect you from abrasions and all sorts of stuff. Usually the stuff that gets you, like you've been cutting sheet metal with an angle grinder, and there's a sharp little burr somewhere that you forgot to take off or missed. Naked hands have a habit of finding those spots, and then tiny little metal slivers will end up in your skin and flesh, and that's annoying. These gloves will save you most of the time, and the reason why I say semi-disposable is you don't have to use these ones just once. You can use these gloves a lot, but eventually, well, for me, they'll start wearing here, and the fingertips start wearing through. So these won't last you for like a long time, like proper leather working gloves do. But the big positive of these is like for a pair of 12 pack of these gloves, it's like less than $5 if I remember, or euros if I remember correctly. So keep your hands protected. These gloves, I literally have these stuffed like this in my back pocket, and if you have them in there for a couple days and you sit on them, they become really nice and compact, and you don't really notice that they're there. They also come in a variety of sizes. There are many different manufacturers for these kinds of gloves, and many different make and models and sizes, etc. So you will find something in your area, and you will find something that fits you, assuming that you don't have an extra finger. If you do, I have no idea what you can do with that. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. Finger band-aids. I have looked on Amazon and on eBay. You can find something like this. Usually not a pack of 100. If you can buy them in a pack of 100, do so. They're usually cheaper. My personal favorite is these band-aids that are that are basically a woven cloth like material. Are you gonna focus? Maybe. Yeah, that should be focusing. Like this woven cloth material, I find that those stick way better and will last way longer on your body. These are also available in blue because, you know, food industry. I don't know if they're available in darker colors, but again, as you can see, I'm a pasty white dude, so I haven't needed to go look for them. Let us know if you find some. I'm sure somebody will find use for these. Anyway, that's all I have to say about these things probably. So thanks for watching, and bye bye.
And now here's Harlequin with his take on flint and steel. So yeah, run BT.
So just a brief discussion on tinder kits, the range of options and what to use for what. Obviously, in an emergency situation, you want something that will light easily the first time and stay lit given horror conditions. Having fallen into a river, submerging your gear and yourself on a cold and rainy day, you don't want to be messing around trying to fight a fire to get yourself dry and warm. In this case, a lighter, bicycle in a tube, and some commercial fire starters are a good option. Beyond catastrophes, obviously bushcraft holds an interesting candle up, if you'll excuse the pun, to the notions of how, where, and with what to start fires. To explore one of the first steps in primitive techniques, I'm hopefully demonstrating the creation of a charcloth tin and the use of a flint and steel. To create charcloth, a small hole is drilled into a sweets tin. Any tight-fitting metal tin should be usable. I just happen to have this tin lying around in a bushcraft kit box for reuse. You then pack the tin with cotton material, in my case I used calico that was left over from a sewing project, and subsequently place the packed tin in the fire and wait for the cloth to char, turning it into char or charred cloth. You'll normally see a difference in the smoke rising out of the tin's hole, which will tell you or show you that the char cloth is ready to be used. Then, taking a flint and steel and trying to live up to the realms of the character Sam from My Side of the Mountain by Gene George, I place a piece of charcloth on top of your flint and strike firmly down with the steel onto the flint. After a couple of strikes and a lot of practice, you'll hopefully catch a spark on a charcloth, which you can then use to light other materials. Obviously, like anything, this skill takes practice. You only get out of something the amount of practice you put into it. In the Northern Hemisphere, you're just going into autumn, and in Oz we haven't just got to the fire danger period yet, so perhaps now is the perfect time to practice with whatever method you choose, just to get some skills up. and practice those firelighting abilities.
So thanks very much for that, guys. That's a great episode put together by other people, and all I had to do was film the interim bits. That's great. So now that's the end of the show. All I'm going to ask is that if you like it, or you didn't like it, or you think it can be better, especially these clip bits. My gimbal broke a couple of weeks ago after 18 months of faithful service. So yes, so thank you so much to everybody that contributed, and in advance thank you to everybody that's going to comment, like and subscribe and do all the groovy things. And if you've got any ideas for segments, even if you don't want to film them, that's what comments are for. I read every single one. Yeah, we even picked up a few new subscribers, so hello wherever you are. And yeah, that's it, the end of the episode. And I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it won't be too long a gap between the two. Thanks for watching, and do take care.